There's nothing like the moments that you're playing music with your best friends, particularly during jams when you're all just making this shit up on the spot and you're not thinking.
Yeah.
You realize that you are just simply existing in that moment. And there's like a pure channeling of whatever your spirit's hearing and feeling from the universe and communicating to your fingers. And, same with your buddies. Like there's nothing like that.
Yes, here we go.
We're here. We're doing it.
Welcome to episode 1 of Syncopated Journeys.
Wow, we're finally doing it, dude.
Dude, we've talked about doing this for 15 years, since the day we met.
Yeah.
And
it's
here we
taken
are.
about that long to figure out, these little cubes and backgrounds that we got going, but we got it. We're alive.
For those of you who don't know us, me and Pat have been friends for 16 and a half years, and we've played music together for all of those years, as well as created our own businesses, toured together, helped each other run our businesses, all sorts of different things. Pat, you want to tell them about what you got going on?
My name is Pat Graves, a.k.a. FlipADay. So I'm known as FlipADay because I did a flip, and that's not like a house flip. Someone emailed me one time. I was like, I can't believe you've done a flip for 1,115 days in a row. Anyways, an acrobatic flip for 1,115 days in a row to battle my depression, but to encourage other people to find their happiness and live it. So my mission became to inspire happiness. So David and I, as we've said, we've both been on one hell of a journey together, and we've been through the highest of highs and lowest of lows. A lot of what will be kind of like strewn into our conversations is the continuous element of mental health. How to chase your happiness, how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with depression. But it's all going to be a lot of fun stuff in these conversations.
Absolutely. And Pat is a bassist, a bass player, and I am a drummer. And that kind of comes with the name Syncopated Journeys. We've always been so locked in on our instruments together as a duo, so much to the point where we created a band called Mutual Groove because of that connection. And so I go by Have a Good David online, and I also own a production company called Crush It Productions. I do video editing and video production.
I just yelled it out loud for all of San Diego to hear.
So Pat's got FlipADay going on. I got Crushed It going on. We got Mutual Groove going on. We got all sorts of different things. We're going to talk about that. And let's get into it.
Yeah, well, to piggyback off what you were saying, it was like we always had this ability to speak without speaking. Because even back in those early days in your parents' basement, where everything was really started, like that's like where the foundation was built. And I remember, because that was like my first moments of really playing music, because I was in a band before, but it was more of just like, a couple of friends from my gymnastics team hanging out. It wasn't like a super serious band.
Mm-hmm.
But then when we started with our stuff back in 2007, it was my first like real experience playing music. And then, being, I don't know, introduced maybe to the art of jamming, the improvised like. So people that don't know, when musicians say like, hey, want to jam, it's almost like if a rapper were to freestyle and just make everything up off the cuff. That's what, musicians mean when they say, hey, like, let's jam. And so we became pretty much obsessed with jamming. And I remember those first talking without talking moments where I close my eyes and I'm moving around and like my head's in the zone. And then I would do a fill or something, and the fill was totally matched with like whatever David was doing. I was like, oh shit, yes! That was the exact recording.
That's what would happen in our brains every time that happened during a show. Yeah, wow, 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 wow.
Turn the trap horn down on my headphones. It's crazy, like what the journey has morphed into since then.
Yeah.
I remember first meeting you when my dad moved into the house. We were moving in. It was hot as hell. It was like August or something. And there's like a knock at the door. And I remember being like, who's this? Like, we're in the middle of moving. We're all sweating. There it was. Good old David and Beth.
hey guys, we have a basket of Pepsi Colas and some fruit for you. We noticed you're moving in and we just wanted to make sure you're staying hydrated. Is that how it was?
Yeah, I think you were probably wearing your St. Martin shirt.
Oh, dude, yeah. One of 3 shirts I cycled through my entire high school career.
The one of 2 pairs of shorts that you had, like those like light blue cargo shorts.
You know me, dude. No, I remember specifically because I think it was your mom and sister who opened the door.
Well, it wouldn't have been Patty.
Oh yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Your mom didn't even live there.
So my stepmom may have been Norma.
Maybe it was Norma and Maggie, and then you came up from behind them with your big ass fro, dude. Your curly fro, and you go, "Hi, I'm Pat." I was just like, I got all my acne. I'm like, "Hi, damn it." And dude, who would have thought? Now, 15 years later, I'm on the East Coast, Pat's on the West Coast, and it took us separating that far to now come together to do a podcast. Wow. So basically we are friends, musicians, fucking partners in crime. Well, we haven't really done much crime. I'd say we're pretty...
I'd say a couple drunken publics probably.
Probably some drunken publics.
That's the extent of our crime, I would say.
Yeah, and we were never hurt anybody. It was probably just annoying people at that point.
It was just loud, kind of boisterous behavior. I'm particularly thinking about the St. Patty's Day, stuff like back in Nashville, or like, Pedal Tavern.
Getting a little like wild in Nashville.
Yes. So David and I you were there for what? About 10 years?
I think 8.5, 9 years it was total.
So I was there for 12.5 years. Wow. I just moved out to San Diego, and David's been in Atlanta for 2.5 years?
3 years.
Or are you on 3 years? Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you moved in 2021.
Yeah, February 2021.
That's crazy.
Kicking it out here, building this studio setup here.
And would you ever have guessed that our musical journey, that brought us to Nashville, would have led you into being like a full-time, like, video editor, videographer?
No.
Into the video world? Like, did you ever have any inspiration back then?
No, I had inspiration. I always just loved the act of creating, and with being in a band and being on the road and us being goofy and like just always riffing off of jokes and stuff in the van. Even going back to like Vine and Snapchat. Remember like our first Snapchats,
dude? Dude. We throw out a word, freestyle it.
Pine. There was a tree. It was a pine. Bitch, you're fine!
Yeah, I just loved creating content like that. And then it kind of just spread from there. And then I remember when we first started Mutual Groove after our first band, we were kind of like, what do we need to do to really pop off? And we're like, we need better content. We need to compete with these other bands. So we need like a legit camera. And so we did all that research, and I ended up getting the Lumix G7 by Panasonic, dude.
It's a great first camera, man.
And that little thing, got us some incredible content and went on the road with us and all that stuff. And that's kind of where it started, and then it just kind of spread from there. And I mean, the whole Atlanta thing just happened perfectly. COVID was crazy, and that kind of confused all of us in the band and the music industry, because we were just like, I don't know where this is gonna head.
Because remember, there was a point where it was like, will we ever be able to go to a live show again?
Yeah,
remember,
we really didn't. Yeah, we really didn't know. We were like, are we just gonna be living off of like, government funds and stuff? Like, what is happening?
I need another stimulus check, please. Can you send another one through the door?
Stimulate
I'll leave
me.
my mailbox open.
But yeah, I mean, at that point, I had already started just supplementing my income with editing, and you kind of hooked me up with Boost Gymnastics. Because they needed some content, and I was just like, yeah, I got this Lumix G7, and let's do it. And then
and I lent you the GoPro Fusion too, so you could do like some
the 360. They're like, "Can you do 360 shots for our website?" I was like,
Yeah, I can.
virtual tour.
Patrice,
Sound good?
Patrice, send me the Fusion, please. And I'm calling you, even though we live together. So you're just in the other room. Patrice, hey, can I borrow that?
Well, you could have just whispered. Those walls in that house that was built in like 1490. Those walls were like paper thin.
1492, dude, the first house that was built.
The first house that was built across the ocean blue. Rhonda Housey.
In 1492. Oh my God. Quick side note. We had a house that was on Rhonda Lane in Nashville, and we named pretty much everything in our lives. So I remember, I think it was just, I was just like, what do we name the house or whatever? And you just, or were we looking at Zillow and you were just like, Rhonda Housey?
Because it was a house on Rhonda Lane, and Rhonda Rousey was just
Crushing
absolutely destroying every fighter in her way at that time. And so it was a very, popular name in media back then, I guess. And I saw Rhonda Lane, I was like, Rhonda Housey. And it just kind of stuck.
There it was, dude. You guys want to jam at Rhonda Housey tonight?
We had
Classic.
some solid jams, later in the COVID days. Like Hurricane Dorian with You, Me, and Sam is still one of my favorite jams that happened in that basement.
Wow, yeah, Hurricane Dorian was dope. So the whole point of us doing this is, I mean, to be honest, we're kind of figuring it out as we go. And I feel like we're going to kind of come up with certain themes and come up with certain stories and structures and eventually bring on guests and stuff. But this is kind of just a first episode, kind of ADD it out, because that's kind of how our brains work. We kind of just jump from shit to shit. So we're like, we have these conversations anyway, so might as well just start recording them. Maybe someone will want to listen.
Maybe. I mean, at very worst, we're still going to get a ton of laughs and have some good hangout time. I mean, there's nothing wrong about that. Why do people do that? What does that one mean?
What does that mean? For people who aren't watching, we're doing how would you describe this? The hands clasped together,
it's like
shaky.
A chaka, right?
It's like you're chopping wood with your hand. I am the best, thank you, sir. I am the best, thank you, sir.
I am improperly holding a baseball bat. Yes.
Dude, I don't know.
I
man.
am double-handing, throwing some salt over my shoulders.
Speaking of that, what do you think I'm going to bring up based off of that?
Sea bass.
Who's the dead man that hit me with the salt shaker?
Quick, toss some salt over your right shoulder.
Quick, toss some salt over your right shoulder.
He throws it over his left.
Oh, God. Dumb and Dumber
Most
is
quotable movie of all time.
absolutely.
I quote it every day.
Every single day? Did you quote it yet today besides what we just said?
Probably. I think I do it a lot without knowing. It's always funny though when you say a line when you say a line from the movie and it goes over someone's head. One of my friends here was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Aspen for a ski trip." And I go, "California?" And she goes, "No, Colorado, Pat." I was like, well, I'm an idiot. Yes. But you're the idiot.
Yeah. Dude, I take that, and we've been doing that since Nashville too. When I first visited Nashville with musicians, like there'll be like a Metallica song playing, be like, "Oh, the Beatles, man, I love it." Just like people in line at one of the honky tonks going in, they'd be playing like, I don't know, Sheryl Crow,
Wagon Wheel, and I'd be like, "Man, the wheels on the bus are killing tonight."
Just stupid.
Raffy's on one.
Like, what? And then you just keep a straight face, and then people just think you're an idiot. But then you can laugh about it later.
People catch on eventually, and then you'll start to see other people's bits of humor coming out, because then they try to stretch it as far as they can. Say if it was like a Metallica song, they'd be like, Justin Bieber, Justin Bieber's dance moves were killing. I don't know how he sings into the mic without biting it with them beaver teeth. Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber, dude. But yeah, I feel like we've always done that shit. I do that all the time. Anytime someone says they're going on vacation, I always say something like that. Or they'll be like, "Where are you from?" They'll be like, "Oh, Houston." I'll be like, "Oh, Florida. Wow." And then they'll just kind of like have to process it for a second. Like, is this guy really that stupid?
I'll see you later.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm just getting dumber by being next to you.
Or then you kind of laughing like, I'm just kidding. And then they're just like, they don't find it funny at all. And you're just like, oh, God.
Dude, when I first moved out here, I was out at a
humor?
bar. Huh?
No one got your humor?
No. But when I was first out here, I was at a bar one night, and these two girls sat next to Ryan and me. Ryan's my brother, everyone. They were just, small talking, whatever. And they're like, "Oh, Nashville." They're like, they're like, "That's in Texas, right?" And I'm like, no. I was like, "It's in Tennessee." And they're like, "Are you kidding me?"
Wait, Tennessee?
Yeah, they're like, I was like, "No, Nashville's in Tennessee." And they're like, "Wait, Tennessee?" They're like, "That's in Texas too." Right? I was like, "No, Tennessee's a state." And they look at each other, they go, "Tennessee's a state?"
Wait, are you serious? Where is this at?
I am 100% dead serious. I couldn't believe it.
Where were you?
I was at a bar here. It was like maybe a month after I had moved here.
Oh, in San Diego.
Yeah. I mean, these girls were like 28, probably, somewhere in there. So it wasn't like they're fresh out of school. Even so, it's like, did you not learn the 50 States song? 50 Nifty? Come on, man.
I didn't learn that.
Are you serious?
I went to Catholic school, dude. They weren't teaching us shit except verses from the Bible.
Dang, man. Well, at least, like, I can't believe you didn't turn into Eminem with all the verses you were studying. I've been studying verses for 9 years. Call me David, because Goliath ain't shit.
Psalms, mixtape number 1.
Goliath who?
Dude, I remember at one time, this is such a bad name, but I was like just brainstorming artist names for like just a solo project. And I was just like, I should just go by David the Goliath.
Oh, wait. Dude, I thought you... David the Goliath?
David the Goliath. I was just like, that's like the most like egotistical, weird-ass name, dude.
I thought you were going to talk about Spanking Angels.
Oh my God, dude.
That was going to be David's butt rock name. A butt rock band name.
A butt rock band name. So if you don't know what butt rock is, it's more of like the Nickelback kind of Creed, like, oh yeah, just like a little bit more.
Sounds like cigarette and smells like pit sweat.
Nothing against them, because How You Remind Me frickin'
Never made it as a wise man.
back in the day, dude. Pat didn't feel it.
Missed me. That one missed me.
What about Human Clay by Creed? That album crushed.
I actually never listened to the whole album. I just knew the songs, like, the big songs off it.
But yeah, anyways, I had come up with a band name that I wanted to do called Spankin' Angels. And it was my butt rock band name. And I was the lead singer. If you guys want to see Spankin' Angels reunite and kind of really get things going, comment below.
We gotta start smoking cigarettes and stop working out.
Oh God.
Again, no disrespect to anybody in band like that. This is just our humor that we've developed over the years. We have a certain taste of music that we really like to play and listen to, and they have the right to listen to whatever they want.
Yeah, and I think the stuff we listen to is really like an amalgamation of all of the different like genres and stuff. So I feel like we have a very full spectrum musical palette.
Yeah, I agree. There's one genre that I can't stand them. It drives me nuts. You have what you told me the other day. It was like what, corporate pop or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, that's more of like from Yeah, the license free samples and songs that I have on my websites for like editing videos, and one of the categories is corporate pop. It's just like those like major chords.
Oh, and those like real, shimmery synths and
oh, dude, yeah,
and it's all like
fluorescent
the
light
same, like,
bulbs in your face, dude, just crushing, like really tight collar with your tie. Your tie is just like overly tight, and you're just like, oh man.
Well, then there's that, and then there's like where there's like a song, right? You have the whole length of a song, but within that song, there's 30 snippets of other pop songs. It might be like the chorus, and it'll be like always chipmunk voice and sped up. What's that Miley Cyrus song, Flowers, that just she won a Grammy for? It'd be something like that. It'd be like, I'm gonna buy you flowers. It's like, yo, get out of my face.
Calm down.
It's too much, man.
I feel you.
But yeah, that and like, pop country. I don't need to hear 48 songs about, the windows being down and my lack of hair blowing in the wind. Like, just doesn't do it for me. my mustache whiskers are...
I got my Coors Light in my left hand.
This is my left, but it's on my right.
I've got my driving stick on my right.
Stick shift, Daryl. So you can tell who's never driven stick here.
Dude, I never driven stick, and I only tried once, and it was at the Toys R Us parking lot in Nashville in Pat's Jeep, and I failed miserably. we must have looked insane in the Toys R Us parking lot.
Two sober dudes looking completely hammered because of David's terrible driving skills with manual car.
Dude, I gave up after that. That was it. I've never driven stick. So hopefully,
why I can't even help you anymore. Yeah, I gave.
Oh yeah, you gave that up.
Yep.
Dude, one of my favorite things about your Jeep, going to deliver tickets for our shows at Jam and Java, in like the foot of snow when everything was shut down, but Pat said,
"Fuck it, I got a Jeep.
Let's go."
And Pat was
cruising.
We cruised around the whole town, like wide, to deliver tickets to this show.
We went all the way up 28. Remember, we went out to like Leesburg.
Yeah, no one was there. It was just us and the snowplows cruising.
That was fun. There were some good times, man. Even though we had to go through all that bullshit of selling hard tickets, it really did a lot of, I think, character building. And I think it did a lot for our friendship, because we spent so much time in the car together, just talking, bullshitting, just laughing. But it was fulfilling because, yeah, it may have sucked, but at the same time, it was we still found a lot of fun in the challenge.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this sucks, but if we don't do this, it's going to suck way more because no one's going to be at the show.
Yeah. And it worked, dude.
It always worked, dude. Like, we always sold out Jam and Java.
And I think that's what helped too, is like the being personable, hitting people up directly and being like, hey, we got this show coming up. It's going to be fun. It's just going to be a kind of a party. All these other people are coming. We're just trying to create like a good environment, and like hitting people up individually instead of just like throwing them like a flyer or something. Yeah, or a mass text and just being like, hey, come to my show. I don't know. We made a lot of good connections that way. And I mean, we got it even to the point where, we were selling out Jam and Java, and then we got the alcohol record there.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Was it over $2,000 worth of alcohol during our set?
Yeah, it was over $2,000 worth of alcohol was sold during our set, and our set was an hour long, I think.
So those bartenders must have been crushing back there.
Well, I just remember it was
I don't know if that's good or bad. It's almost like we have like a intense fan base.
Back then it was
college.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, we were in our party days back then.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be just as stoked now if, we played a show and, set an alcohol record at the bar. But I would say, a big percentage of those sales would not be going to us. Mm-hmm. I can't drink these days anymore, man.
Oh, no, dude.
I had 3 IPAs last week, over like a 4-hour span.
No, dude.
3 IPAs in a 4-hour span, and I woke up the next morning.
No.
My head was like throbbing. I felt like the beer I was drinking. It was hazy. I just felt hazy, and I was pissed.
Dude,
So
I
like,
feel you, man. I feel you. The IPAs crush nowadays.
I'm done with them.
And
I
we
can't
used to
do 'em.
pound those. We used to just get like 6 packs of the heaviest IPAs we could find.
9%, no problem.
Dude, and we'd wake up and jam for like 35 hours. Like, no problem.
yeah.
We had so much energy.
Well, and then we went through our whole 40-ounce phase.
Oh my God. That was way back when. So
That was
I
the
guess I
early
was in
days.
I was like my late teens, I guess. I was like 18, 19. And you guys were like 20, 21, I guess.
There's a crime.
22.
You underage drinker.
Oh, there's a crime. So we were underage drinking back in the day.
Not me.
Damn.
I was underage, or I was serving to minors.
I was serving to minors.
We're actually a bunch of thugs. We're realizing this as we go.
Statute of limitations were good, right? What started with the hurricanes? Was that the first 40s we were going for, or did we have like other 40s and then all of a sudden we were like, oh, these hurricanes are good?
Well, remember we started calling them slurricanes.
Oh, God, what were we thinking?
So we got into those because I was hanging out with another one of my friends a lot at the time, and he was drinking a ton of hurricanes. And it just became the thing. Well, then also, I know me back then, I had no money. So
cheap.
getting 80 ounces of malt liquor for $4 was like, yeah.
Dude. Yeah, I have like a specific vision in my head of looking up at the... I'm so used to Kroger now, but where were we shopping in Northern Virginia?
We were either at that 7-Eleven in Greenbrier, or we were at the Giant.
Giant, that's what it was. I think it was Giant, this memory I have. And we were like going through scanning everything because we didn't have much money because we were just trying to do the band thing over summer where everyone else was like,
I'm getting an internship at Initech.
we were just like, we're going to be fucking rock stars.
I'm going to drink myself to sleep every night with my bass in my hands. There were days where I definitely slept with my bass.
Oh, dude, I remember.
Not like that, but
Yeah, I was going to say, it's on the internet forever now, dude. That's going to
Cut!
But I remember we were scanning it, like scanning all the different alcohols and stuff. And yeah, it was like two 40-ounce for $4. And we were just like, our minds were blown. And we were just like, let's get 6 of them. And so we each had 2. We went back to my house to jam. And I mean, those were
We'd be
gone
up
before we knew it.
Till like 5 a.m.
I still don't understand how my parents did not wake up. Like, we didn't have that big of a house, but the gods were looking out for us because for some reason, the jam room in our basement was on, hold on, I gotta make sure you can see this, was on the exact opposite end of the house in the basement. My parents were upstairs on the total opposite end of the house. Yeah, and at a slant. So there were so many walls in between us that we were able to jam, like loud jam, like Rage Against the Machine style jamming.
Exactly.
Until like 1 a.m. They were just like, we didn't really hear it.
Like, you guys have a good night last night? Or we're like, did you guys sleep last night? Like,
like what? How did you not hear that? And they're just like, no. So that was so lucky because some of the best times and nights were had in that basement because people would come over and jam with us and just kind of chill with us while we jammed. We always had earplugs. People were like, we don't need earplugs. And we'd be like, you're gonna need earplugs.
You're gonna need them. Like,
and then we'd start playing. They'd be like, can I get those earplugs?
Yeah. We have Volleyball David back there freaking spiking drumsticks at his crash cymbals.
Dude, I was such an angry drummer.
Remember snapping the cymbal stands in half?
Dude, I still don't know how I did that.
I don't know either. I have that like ingrained in my memory what it looked like. It was like the pole itself didn't snap. It was the steel joint. It snapped right in half.
How did that happen?
I don't know, man.
Dude, we would just go so hard. I mean, we would play on those riffs where I would just be crashing as hard as I could on whatever, the crash or the ride, and just going.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know,
formative
man.
Years, dude. Those are some really...
I'm going to say I was super strong, but it was probably just that it was a poorly made cymbal stand. But let's just go with I was super strong back then. Well, but you are right. I was full-time like playing volleyball every single day, and I was an outside hitter. So I did have that motion down for sure.
And you know what's funny too? This is like kind of like a random tidbit, and I think we've talked about it over the years, but how in the very, very beginning, I was always to your right whenever we rehearsed, but we've never played a show where I'm on your right side.
That is wild because, yeah, we always did it because the drum set's more open on the left because I'm looking that way pretty much when I'm playing. And then you can hear the hi-hat, which is usually keeping time. So we're trying to lock in. So Pat would always be to my left, and we just, like, that was our thing. But, yeah, we grew up jamming. You were on the right side there.
Yep.
But, I mean, that was such a small space in my parents' basement that we, like, made work. And it didn't sound bad down there. It was a rectangle room.
Yeah.
We didn't do any sound.
Could always hear
treatment.
everything.
Yeah, we didn't do shit to like make it sound better. We didn't know. We just put up really corny like posters from like Spencer's. Remember
Spencer's, dude?
Like the blacklight posters. Like, what were we doing, dude?
With like the little gnomes or something, or
oh yeah, the gnomes. Yep, we had that
we had an Incubus poster down there
too. Yeah.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Because Incubus was one of our biggest influences, like especially for me and you. I think you actually really got me into Incubus because I mean, like I loved the hit songs like Drive and all that. But then you got me into the band of Incubus, and it just blew my mind, especially Jose Pacia, the drummer. I remember getting like a splash cymbal and stuff. I was like, I need to add all this stuff. Like, this is so cool. Yeah.
Dude, those were, I do remember the moment it kind of clicked for you where Incubus went from, oh yeah, they've got a bunch of really good popular songs that I've heard, to, yo, this band in totality is incredible.
Yeah.
Like their musicianship, their sense of rhythm. And what's so cool about them is their sense of rhythm is so good that it sounds simple. But then when you try to learn some of their stuff and try to play to it, it's like, time out. This is way more complicated than it sounds. It feels different when you play it as opposed to listening to
Absolutely. It. I had like a connection with Brandon Boyd's lyrics.
Yeah. There's a Brandon Boyd line that pops into my head. It's from the bridge of, I think it's Blood on the Ground. Mm-hmm. High fives to a better judgment. High fives to better judgment, man. Like,
High fives to
I don't
better
know why,
judgment, dude.
I don't know why, but that one sticks in my head. It's like, you know what? We can all have a little bit better judgment sometimes.
Yeah, dude. Let's give each other high fives. Thank you, Brandon, for the insight in the recommendation.
Yeah,
5 stars on Yelp for Brandon Boyd.
It's like not even anywhere near one of his best lines, but that one just popped into my head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some
Brandon Boyd. If you're listening.
Yeah, Brandon Boyd, if you want to be on episode 2 of the podcast, let us know, dude. Come on. Hit us up.
Oh, man. Well, number 2 references the letter B in terms of chronological alphabetical order.
Yeah.
So we could double up and have it the BB episode, the Brandon Boyd.
The Brandon Boyd episode, man. I mean, one of my favorite memories of the whole Incubus era, which, still continues, especially now that they're releasing the anniversary album of Morning View. It reminds me of... That was your first time seeing them, too, when we all went to Norfolk, right?
Virginia Beach. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we all...
Totally sober,
and we found,
blacked out.
Dude, yeah, we blacked out because we were such big fans of the band that like when they came on stage, it just blew our minds so much. And we were in the pit, so we were like right up there.
We were like 3 or 4 people back from the front. The energy was just so pure, and that was the first time that I had ever had to wait so long to see a band. Remember, like I had waited like 10 plus years to see them, and they had been, especially back then, like no one came close to Incubus for me back then. Was like, oh yeah, they were the cream of the crop, the best band of all time in my perspective. And waiting that long, and once they walked out, energy overload, and my memory went off.
Yeah,
it just shut off.
Yeah,
I remember stuff from the show, but I was so locked in and in a way like overwhelmed and excited. It was like I was fucked up. It was crazy.
Yeah. No, I had the same experience. And it was cool because our friend group back then happened to love Incubus as well. So like we had this whole group that we went with, which made it this incredible experience. And we had this I had this Canon camera. I had like one of those like PowerShot cameras that I would use in college, and that's like my only memories from it because I had that because this was before we had like
Phones
the
and
iPhones,
cameras.
I guess.
Yeah, because this was back in, that must have been 2008. Yeah,
It was right when the
2008.
iPhones were starting to come out, but I know like we didn't have one. I had
No, I definitely
I think I
didn't
had
have
the LG chocolate, the little slide thing. Man, the LG chocolate, baby. You remember those commercials?
Yeah.
Everybody loves chocolate.
I had probably one of them, brick Nokia phones or something
Oh,
back
dude,
then.
you had the worst phones.
I never really had good phones for a while.
Dude, that was it the Samsung one? What was that first one you had that was just like, I remember you used to just throw it across the lawn, and then sometimes it would work after that. Like, it wouldn't work, and you would get so mad you would just throw it, and then you go pick it up, and then all of a sudden it'd be working, and be like,
I feel like, damn,
what
this is great.
wrong with this?
I wonder if back then, before we, realized my weird technological energy effect, I wonder if it was happening back then, and I was just like, just so pissed. I had no idea why nothing would work.
Pat has had the most technological issues, way more than anyone I've ever met. It's something will be working perfectly. He'll follow a tutorial perfectly. I'll be helping him with something that I've done 100 times.
We'll be sharing the screen.
We'll be sharing
on,
a screen.
Zoom. I follow like your clicks verbatim, and it works for you, and it doesn't work for me. It's like,
it's super weird. I don't know.
And
if
it's not only once; it's dozens and dozens of times.
It's crazy, and it's funny because he gets really frustrated.
Oh yeah. So whenever it comes to anything technological or anything like that, I'm just like, that's in your department, David. It'll take me 3 years to finish this.
Hey, but look at this now. Look at this.
I know, this is great.
Hey, merch
like my
store.
merch store.
Shameless plug for FlipADay. Check out this mug right here, dude.
Sick. Look at that guy.
You were supposed to shift the image though, so that it would be here. It's on the front.
Dude, I wondered that too, man. Like,
Erin did the same thing when she did merch for her Erin Tainer channel, or maybe it was, I forget what channel it was.
I didn't know I could shift it.
But she made that same mistake because you just put it on and then you were supposed to like shift it over to so where it would be like on a normal.
I thought I tried to do that, but it was like, oh no, like your image is outside the print zone or something.
Yeah, dude, this looks dope. I have a 14mm camera right now, so I'm like almost touching the lens, but that looks really cool.
I can smell your coffee.
How does it smell?
Like tea. Oh God, Kip, don't listen.
Yeah, Kip, don't listen to this podcast. You're gonna hate this. Okay, story time. Kip, insanely talented artist, singer, keyboardist, producer, everything. Kip Wild.
All around
Look him
great
up.
human being.
Great dude.
Wild
Heavy
with an
laughs.
E on the end.
We'd be on tour and I was a slurper with my coffee, or I guess some other people were too. Maybe it was just me. I don't know.
It was mainly you.
It was mainly me because I kind of figured out that he didn't like it, and so I would kind of like test the limits or whatever. But we'd get coffee in the morning, and I would slurp it, and he's not like a confrontational dude, so he would just be like visibly upset and annoyed and disturbed by it, and you'd kind of like have this look on his face too. Like,
You'd see him throw in the AirPods, and
put
you'd
his
have that
AirPods
long like
trying to like
that long
decompress,
sigh.
and I'd be over here just like.
That right there, he hates that shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I bet 90% of you don't like that either, that I'm doing that into the microphone.
I don't know, man. People are freaking weird these days with all the ASMR stuff.
Yeah,
like,
maybe they like it. Some people are like, rewind that part.
or they're like, why aren't you talking more like this? Hey, everybody, this is Pat on the Syncopated Journeys podcast.
Oh, God, dude,
People
I
love
hate that.
It's so bizarre. So bizarre.
Yeah, that is weird, the ASMR
How bizarre.
fad.
How bizarre.
How bizarre. How bizarre.
Who sings that?
Dude, we were just on vacation and my buddy Jesse played that for one of his songs. Oh, and we have to do this on the bachelor trip. It's just called the DJ game, and it's just you go around the car and hand off the Spotify or whatever, and someone starts, just play whatever song you're inspired by, and then the next person has to choose a song based off of that song that triggers their memory of a song. So it kind
That's cool.
Yeah, so it kind of creates this like really interesting series of songs because you're like, oh man, that made you think of that, or like, oh man, now we're in the 90s. Oh man, all of a sudden we just jumped to the, modern music. Like it's just cool. So we should do that.
No, that's a really fun game actually.
Yeah. So How Bizarre was played, and he knew every single lyric of it, and we were just like, that's so random
What?
to know every
How
single
Bizarre!
lyric. Yeah, How Bizarre, dude.
I have no idea who sings that song, and I have no other idea like what any other word in that song is.
Dude,
but
I'm gonna be like Jamie on the Joe Rogan podcast and be the researcher here because I got 45 monitors in front of me.
Yeah, you can do that. I'm teched out, dude.
Oh no, dude, you're out. OMC. That must have been a one-hit wonder.
Oh, I thought you were about to say like OMG. His name is Charles or something.
No, dude. Yikes. The singer died in 2010 because he was suffering for years with a chronic degenerative disease,
That's sad.
an autoimmune disorder similar to the nerve disease multiple sclerosis. Wow, I did not know that. Yeah, because they did not have many. I don't think they had many songs.
Yeah, that's interesting.
OMC, New Zealand musical group. Interesting.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Anyways, we'll have to play the DJ game when we're.
No, that's gonna be
When
awesome.
we're doing that. Just kind of keeps it so we don't get stuck on like one artist or go through a whole album when there's a bunch of different people's musical tastes in the car.
Exactly. It's always so weird when you're in a car with a bunch of people and you're like, I mean, are people feeling this? Are people?
Yes, it's a lot of pressure, man.
Here.
There's a lot
Yeah,
of
I get
pressure.
anxiety. I'd rather deal with someone who's a shitty DJ than have to be like, you guys have to listen to my music.
Yeah, dude. The worst is like you're the DJ. You're like playing something, and then you see like someone in the back like put on headphones, and like just be like, oh god, like I guess the vibe wasn't as cool as I thought it was.
Circle back to the tour days where I'd be driving and Kip would be in a shotgun, and I'd turn on like Rage Against the Machine and just start driving. You'd see Kip just.
I was like, nope,
Throw his
I'm
AirPods in.
checking out.
Sometimes you just like reach over and turn down the volume. It's like,
Yeah, just
no.
turn it down, dude. I had so many battles of air conditioning with Kip.
Oh, that's so funny. I love Kip.
Oh, dude, he's the best. I hope at
Those
some
were
point.
good days, man. I love being on the road.
Oh, dude, it's super fun. You were always a morning driver too. Pat would always volunteer to be the guy who gets up and freaking chugs some coffee, maybe hits a pen or something, and then just cruises. And then turns on Rage Against the Machine or some type of music while we're all kind of still waking up. And then he'll crush it for a few hours and then just crash. And then he'll be like, not the car. Physically he would crash and then be in the
Just
back
crash
like
to our
laying down
destination.
on the seat in the van. So
Just put my pillow, because we all always had like our feet were laying to like the door, the passenger door side,
yeah,
and we'd all just be like crashed out back there. Man,
watch your feet near the camera here, dude. We may start getting
saw
some foot fans, dude.
no problem. Take a screenshot of that. Just give me the royalties.
PatsFeet.com.
Dude, instead of royalties, you just call them royal toes. Give me the royal toes. I'll paint them for you. I'll put little crowns on them. And at some point too, we're gonna start like reviewing songs on here, and we might do like some blind reactions to where we're listening to a song for the first time, or we might be sharing a song that we both just absolutely love and like kind of pick it apart. Maybe little production elements or like a drum or a bass fill or XYZ.
Yeah, we'll see if musicians and stuff follow us because we could really dive into some production stuff on here too. Just share the
We
screen.
can get real heady on all sorts of topics though, because you and I are definitely not just unifaceted.
Unifaceted. I like that, dude. Maybe that's what not unifaceted should be the name of the first episode, dude.
I like it, dude. I guess you could then just say multifaceted.
No, dude, that was. And dude, every time I like do my crazy laugh, I would.
Chocolate rain.
Chocolate rain. Tazon Day, baby. Let's fucking go, dude. Guy's fire. Man, I wonder what he's doing nowadays.
I turn my head to breathe away from the mic.
Oh yeah, it's like says it on the screen.
The school books say it can't be here again. Chocolate rain.
Yeah.
Dude, that was such a wild time for the YouTube era. Just like
when it first started coming out, in those first viral videos, like, Charlie bit my finger and
Charlie, that really hurt.
Oh, dude.
let's get some shoes.
Oh,
remember that one?
Shoes. Yeah, hell yeah, I remember that one.
Shoes.
And what was the waffle fries? What was that called? The dude was like in black and white.
Chicken sandwich and some waffle fries for free.
With some waffle fries.
Why? That definitely.
You
sounds
don't remember
familiar.
that? Dude, someone's gonna remember that.
Hey, we haven't talked about this,
Mm-hmm.
and it'd be a nice little congratulatory statement here. But one of our nearest and dearest and funniest and super talented friends is now a papa. Papa Devin.
Oh my gosh, dude, I was losing my shit. Did he send you that picture of it?
Of it. What?
Dude, I just
Here's this thing.
dude,
Look at it.
dude, you're gonna fucking die, dude. If you haven't seen, did he text you any pictures?
Yeah, and like a video and stuff too. He may have sent the same.
Is it the one with the big eyes? Do you know
yeah,
which
where
one I'm
he's
talking about?
Yep.
Dude.
Where his eyes were like, holy shit.
Yes, our buddy Devin. Oh my gosh, had a baby boy, dude. Holy cow! I cannot wait to
Congrats
see
to Devin and
I
Abigail.
cannot wait. Yeah, I cannot wait to see him grow up.
Oh, I know.
It's so funny. Me and Devin were talking. He was saying he was just gonna get one of those holsters where he's gonna be producing, and the baby will just be sitting there like all day. So, and he's gonna be like really aggressive, teaching him like, no, you gotta EQ. You gotta do a bell curve around 4K.
Come on, Everett. When you said you like went like this and stuff, and when you said producing, I was like, Devin's not gonna be breastfeeding, dude. What are you talking about?
Dude, you never
like,
know,
where's he
man.
going
It's
with this?
2024, man. People are doing everything now.
Yeah.
It's like there's gonna be fast forward 30 years. There's gonna be no more genders because we're just gonna be like all aliens.
Just gonna be like this.
It'll be like
androgynous-
robots and aliens. Yeah, it'll just be an androgynous species. I feel like that's what we're moving towards.
It is crazy how crazy things seem to be getting. Remember, I think I was talking to you about it the other day, how
Yesterday, I think.
it was yesterday, the technological curve just became like
dude.
exponential. And
It's
I
like
just feel like,
exponentially exponential.
yeah, like the crazy curve is kind of exponential. Now, I wonder if that's the truth, that people are just getting a little bit more detached and a little crazier, or if it's because that we all have so much more access to information and we're constantly bombarded with information that it's just more apparent. I think people are just getting crazier.
Well, I think we're getting
particularly
crazier.
dumber.
Because of that.
Yeah, I think it's just
stimulation, and our brains aren't meant to handle what we're consuming. I don't think.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense if you look at the natural way of the world and how nature works and stuff. It just doesn't make sense to be like having all these synapses firing in our brain and like getting all this dopamine up and down, like, and just so much fear too. Like everyone's just so afraid. Anxiety's like at an all-time high, and like I don't know. It just feels way less peaceful than it did growing up. Obviously, we were kids back then, but even like our parents say that, and I think everyone kind of agrees that there was a little bit more of a calm energy in the world before, like, well, especially 2020 happened. It just kind of like seems like everything shifted since then, and now it's just been constant since then. But
it does feel like the waters haven't really restored back to calm. There's still very choppy, ripples. And remember when we had this first conversation? Like, it had to be maybe about 12 years ago, where we first started talking about anxiety.
Oh yeah,
remember how it was in a way relieving, because now I had a name for this feeling and this state of mind that was so like crippling. And I'm like, what is this? Why do I feel like this? I remember specifically with you and me, it was like, nothing that was specifically triggering that. It was just like this presence. Why am I like worried about everything? And then we started diving more into mental health, and it was like, oh, that's called anxiety, and it fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's so wild. Like now where we're at, to think of a time where we didn't know or like understand what anxiety was. Like it's just so wild. I remember looking online, and I didn't know if I was homesick because we had moved to Nashville. So I was just like, what is this feeling? Like I just don't feel good. I feel very uncomfortable,
totally unsettled,
not grounded. And then I understood like what grounding was and all that. That really started our journey of being like, wait, you feel this way too? Let's kind of try to figure this out. And then it's been like a 14, 13, 12, whatever since then. 12 years of kind of like hacking away at it and kind of
daily.
I mean, you have to.
It was almost like a double-edged sword, kind of being able to identify it and give it a name, because it helped me identify so many moments in my childhood, where I had felt like that, but had zero clue why or what that feeling was. And now that, we've experienced and, have educated ourselves on what anxiety is, what depression is, and we've kind of like developed our own tools that help these things. It's almost like the more you know becomes a double-edged sword, because now it's like, wait, oh, that's anxiety. Wait, is it? And you start to question it, and there's this little gray area that appears like once you identify what that feeling of unsettledness is.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It makes exact sense. Yeah, it's a very complex. I mean, and I think it goes back to what we're saying with like being overstimulated, and like I feel like our brains and our mental health is reaching new points where people just don't even really know what they're feeling. Because it's like, who knows, there's probably a lot of new things that are happening because we don't know what prolonged cell phone usage does to you. We don't have any of these like studies yet of all this new modern stuff that we're just getting crushed with. Obviously all the TikTok banning and all that. I mean, I know that has to do with like information and all that, but I see so many things online now where a lot of content creators are just speaking up more about it pretty much being like digital fentanyl for people, and the addictions are just so intense.
Across all ages too.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I couldn't imagine I'm so glad we are the generation that grew up in between. So we've been able to like grow with this and kind of like try to understand it in real time, rather than the new generation that just came up with it and they're just like in like middle. I mean, because I don't know about you, but I was dealing with all that stress and anxiety and stuff when I was younger in high school with like social situations or like AIM or, girls, friend groups, all that kind of stuff.
The very, very beginning of like textiety.
Yeah. What are the kids dealing with nowadays? Damn.
I don't know, man.
That's tough.
It's gotta be really tough. It's like this paradox, it's like at a time where we have, all the knowledge in human history at our fingertips. But as we get more and more advanced into this like technological era, people are becoming way more complacent and way more like, oh, this will be done for me. I don't need to do this. Like even like with simple addition and things like that, people whip out their calculator. And like memorization, like when I get a number, like a phone number or something like that, I try to memorize it. Or like I get a new credit card, first thing I do is just memorize the number.
Yeah, like no one does that. That's wild. That's good.
You got to keep your memory active. Yeah, and fortunately we're musicians, because they say if you're over 40, one of the best things you can do is pick up an instrument. Because it stimulates both hemispheres of the brain. It helps with memory, it helps with coordination. So anybody out there, if you've never picked up an instrument, it's literally never too late. You can pick up any instrument. And it is unbelievably fulfilling spiritually, mentally, emotionally, even physically, when you're like, oh, wait, I got that chord change or whatever. Like
that connection, that brain-body connection is so incredible.
It's the best.
One of my favorite things we've always talked about is how we would mentally rehearse for shows in our heads, like while we're meditating or something, where you just go through ideas or stuff you've watched, and then all of a sudden when we would go and play again, all those neurons were connected in our minds just through thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that would
That's
just
like
blow
what
my
Jaco
mind.
Pastorius said. He's like, your brain is a sick computer and you
Yeah.
can use it however you want. So it's like you can practice without doing anything as long as you can like visualize.
The visualization, dude, so crazy. I remember just like sitting in the back of the van sometimes before shows and just like rehearsing the set in my mind and just like, it's just so wild, dude. But yeah, you should definitely, if no matter what age you're at, if you feel inspired, pick up an instrument, because one of the coolest things about music is it doesn't matter what age you are. With sports players, like, you know, they a lot of them are retiring and deal with all these health problems. But with music, it's just like you see people out there in their 90s still like playing keyboards and stuff, and it's just
I mean, look at the Rolling Stones.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, you know, rest in peace to Charlie, you know, the drummer, Charlie Watts. But like, I mean, they were touring in their 80s.
Yeah,
like
no problem.
What? And that's physically tolling for sure, because when you play music on stage,
yeah, it's a whole different.
No matter whether you're moving or whether you're standing still, it's super taxing because it's just one of those high energy exchanges. You're putting your best out there, and whether you get it back or not, like you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
So, but again, like we've talked about this a ton of times. Neither of us ever could have expected or predicted or dreamed of the mental, emotional, spiritual growth that we have gone through simply because we decided to, you know, try to get good at an instrument.
Yeah.
The inward journey that comes along with actually playing music. Let me rephrase that. The inner journey of actually feeling what it's like to play music instead of just physically playing music. That's arguably the biggest challenge when it comes to what it means to actually play music.
Well, I think that's like the coolest thing about music is it's like you're taking all of your inward journey and expressing it, and that's why that's why we have such great respect or awe for certain musicians, because you know they've gone through these journeys and they're like kind of sharing it with you, and you're like, wow, like that human experience is incredible. Like, thank you for sharing that with me. Like, that's just so wild. And like we noticed our music was, the more we dove into ourselves, our music kept getting better and better and better.
Absolutely. It's fun to reflect. I can pinpoint times where there was a perspective shift and it was like, holy cow, like I'm a better musician now with that belief system, that thought in my head. Because now I see things a little differently. And now it's like, I'm going to hear different things. I can see different patterns, whatever. And man, there's nothing like the moments that you're playing music with your best friends, particularly during jams when you're all just making this shit up on the spot and you're not thinking. Yeah. You realize that you are just simply existing in that moment, and there's like a pure channeling of whatever your spirit's hearing and feeling from the universe and communicating to your fingers. And, you know, same with your buddies. Like there's nothing like that. Yeah. I haven't experienced it at all. You know, it's so special.
No, it's a credible, ethereal conversation you're having with each other. Like, it's so cool. Yeah. It's like a soul connection, I feel like.
Yeah. Speaking without speaking.
Oh, dude, Golden Girls, let's go.
Sophia.
Thank you, Risewai, for that gift.
Yes.
2 Halloweens ago, we dressed up as the Golden Girls to play a Halloween show in Nashville at Exodus, and it was incredible. We'll have to put some videos of that up.
All those photos are still on my phone, so like when I scroll through,
you just
see them, you're just like, there's us as old ladies moving right along.
But yeah, dude, I was thinking, you know, we kind of ended out here.
Yeah.
We don't know, like we said earlier, where this is going to go, but we're really excited for a start of a new journey. Yeah, I feel like the conversations are going to be amazing because there's just so many stories we have just locked and loaded. And it's when we start bringing on guests, like the amount of people we've met in our life, this is going to be awesome.
This is going to be, I'm like super fucking excited about it.
Yeah. It's like, let's do the next one tomorrow.
It gives us like a perfect platform and opportunity to really, you know, express who we are.
Yeah.
Because you and I can be 100% who we are around each other. There's no veil. There's no like, oh, I'm going to act like this. It's Yo, this
This
is
is it. This is
am.
what you're getting.
who you are.
This is what you're getting, man.
I love it.
No, that's awesome. I think this was great too, dude. And I'm pumped. I'm pumped for the next one. Let's give ourselves a round of applause here. You want to start with the? Can you do the what are we gonna call that little move, dude?
Which one?
The salt shaker.
I'd say episode 1 gave a good old hoorah.
What, dude? If anyone knows what
is
this?
The double clutch.
And if you're listening just the audio of this, how would you describe that?
You clap, grasp your hands together, and then shake them over the shoulder.
Yeah, imagine all like the Kings doing this when everyone would cheer for the Kings, and they'd be like,
Well, it's like
"Yeah."
it's almost like a shovel scoop over the shoulder. Switch hands, shovel scoop over the shoulder.
All right, guys.
All right, we've
I
reached
love
our
it.
limit.
I
Pat's
love it.
mental capacity's kaput.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This has been dope.
This is fun. I'm excited.
All right.
Syncopated
Peace.
Journeys.
Syncopated Journeys signing out.